Hi, everyone. Good morning. Buenos dias, everyone. We're super excited for you all to join us here today, Cafecito con HACE, our Pride Month edition. But before we get started with this awesome conversation with our guest here, Miriam Simon, we are just wanted to give some announcements. So make sure to join us also tomorrow for our virtual recruiter connect. So this is an exciting opportunity for those who are exploring careers in communications, marketing, or sales. So then you'll be able to connect with our talent network, again, being able to get some insights around the workplace environments and career path across some of these organizations. Also, later on this month, on June 18th, we'll have our coaching corner. So this is another opportunity for you all to receive one-on-one career guidance from some of our amazing asset career coaches. This is 1 hour sessions that really customize, whatever your specific needs are. And Miriam is also one of our amazing coaches that we have in our asset network. And then lastly, in order to celebrate Pride, we are doing a Pride networking event in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago on June 25th, make sure to join us from 6 to 8 p.m. And our team here will be dropping some of these links in the chat. And also make sure to let us know where you're tuning in from. So let us know, what are you drinking this morning? And also, again, where you're tuning in from. So once again, gracias, Miriam, for accepting our invitation to come in and speak with us this morning. So, we always ask this question with Cafecito con HACE. How do you like your cafecito? Prepared, or what is your morning beverage of choice?
Yes. Hi, Christian. Thank you, everybody. Hello. Good morning. I drink my coffee in the winter. I like it a regular hot cup of coffee, right? With some sugar, a little bit of sugar. Got to make it sweet for the day, and just a splash of half and half. Now that we're approaching more warmer weather, I like an iced coffee with a splash of caramelo. I
Mm.
love my caramel in my coffee. I love caramel.
That's awesome. Yes, iced coffee here in Chicago, where it's very humid here. So yes, that is the route to go for the summer. So Miriam, I would love to for you to tell us a little bit about your cultural background and also your current roles. I know you wear multiple hats, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So what hat don't I wear recently, lately, right? I love to do a lot of things. And I was actually born in Mexico and I was brought over to the United States at 6 months old.
Mhm.
So I was raised down here in New Jersey and I commute into the city, into New York as an HR executive. That's my day job. And I love to venture off into different things. So I became the executive sponsor and coach that I never had. So I became a coach, focus on leadership, because I see that we have very few Latinas, 3.3% in managerial roles. And the higher up you go, it's even fewer of us there. So it's really important for me to be able to do that. And I am just obsessed with amplifying voices, especially minorities, women, LGBTQIA voices that are not normally heard and seen. And my main focus is to take away the pressure to prove with the power to lead, right? We want to replace it with that. We don't want to keep proving ourselves, and we want to make sure that we're leading and we're in our spaces and feel our true authentic self.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I didn't know you were also born in Mexico. I was born also in Acapulco, Mexico, and I came here in too. And also HR background. So I love this connections that we're learning about each other. And also happy Pride Month. So we could talk a little bit about that and how we lead authentically in the workforce. So Miriam, in your work centers around identity, courage, and belonging. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey as an LGBT Latina leader? What has that taught you about embracing all parts of your identity?
So I love this question because embrace is
Mhm.
actually my word of the year. And this is something that I found at a networking event that I just happened to bring with me. It's a little dictionary and it has the word embrace. And you know what? What I've learned is that when I hide any part of me, I am living a divided life. And I am showing my kids, my wife, my community that we as a collective just don't matter if I hide any of those parts of me. And I've learned it's okay to be me. I've learned I am lovable. I am capable. I can take up space, right? I can be colorful. I can wear red. I can wear my red lipstick. I can wear gold. I can wear green. And I can wear yellow, right? Like there's so many different things that sometimes we think we're supposed to look like or we're supposed to be in certain spaces. And I can also bring the heat through challenging the status quo, right? I can bring my spice through my creativity and innovation. And I am my best self when I embrace all of me at all times in any place that I go and I walk into. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I love how confident you are in your identities. So unfortunately, some professionals might feel the pressure to maybe hide some of these aspects at work. So maybe can you provide, some advice or maybe talk us through your journey that you gave to someone who's navigating this experience today?
Sure. And let me just tell you all the things I was hiding.
Mhm.
Okay. So I was hiding being Mexican because I was called cheap labor at one point. I was hiding being a mother because people didn't think I was reliable because I had three babies by the age of 21 and I was navigating that space. I was also hiding being LGBTQIA because my mom did not accept me. And it was a very tough thing to live through. And it was very hard for me to accept even myself. So I would say, like, why are you hiding, right? What is it that you're hiding? Is it the fear of rejection that's keeping you and holding you back? Is it el que dirán, right? What will
Mhm.
people say? That's really huge in our community. Like, what will people say? What brought you to that conclusion? Maybe there's something that happened earlier in your life that created that. And sometimes, too, it's being able to go through your own journey and do it the way that feels right to you, right? Some of us are very early in the career and don't see others like us. So you really don't know how to navigate that. It takes a lot of courage for you to be yourself and to say, oh, you know what? I'm good. Like, whatever, whoever is on the other side and doesn't accept it won't be able to see that, right? But sometimes it's about finding your community. Sometimes it's understanding yourself and what it is that you need for yourself in the space that you're at. And yeah, it's true. Sometimes our vulnerability looks very different than the vulnerability of others. And we need to be cognizant of the fact that the vulnerability is different, right? That factor is different for us. And sometimes we have to give that level of safety to ourselves first before we can begin to feel safe in front of others and in front of other spaces and have that courage to be who you are and to embrace your full self anywhere you go. Like right now, I can go anywhere and I will say, I don't do the code switching anymore, right? I don't do that anymore. I'm like, because we're raised to do that too,
Yes.
right? Don't do this in front of abuela, right? Don't dance reggaeton and don't like Bad Bunny in front of abuela, right? But for me, it's like, hey, listen, I listened to Bad Bunny. I went to the residency and all this and
Mm,
other stuff, right? You can bring up who you are in different ways. And now I go into spaces and I say, oh, yeah, my wife and I did X, Y, and Z,
mhm.
right? And I do get sometimes the eyebrows raising or People have curiosity for what that looks like, and people make assumptions, right? They don't know that I have three adult children. Then they start thinking about my age, and they start thinking about, right, wait, you're wearing it really well, right? All kinds of questions comes up, and that's okay, right? It's okay for those questions to come up. So it's all about where you are in your life
Mhm.
and what you feel comfortable with sharing at the moment. And in the workplace, thankfully, there are so many people who now embrace it and are able to help you navigate those spaces.
Yeah, and thank you, Miriam, for being vulnerable and sharing some of your personal stories. Because that takes a lot too. And as we talked about some of the struggles you face, let hopefully we can also talk about some maybe some of the progress that you've seen within the LGBT professionals in the workplace. And also thinking about what else can we do in the workplace in order to improve the culture, the quality of the LGBT experience, right, in the workplace.
Yeah, so really it comes down to being able to find your community. So what I see a lot is events, right? Like some of us have to be the leaders and have to be the front of the front of the line, right? People have to be able to see you and be able to say, hey, I resonate with that. Oh wait, I didn't know that part about you, right? They made you see you in your job title and not realize who you are. So sometimes you need to find the employee resource groups, right? Like I love participating in the employee resource groups. I'm actually moderating a pride event at work. And I often get asked because I am a person who's comfortable in my own skin and can speak to my vulnerabilities. It took me a long, 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 long time to be able to do that and to be as open as I am now. And I've done a lot of internal work, but that those are the things that we can do. And creating events, right, like coming out day, be going and participating in the pride parades that are right, like ERGs go as a community and go. And I see that these groups are relatively still small
Mhm.
in size, and I feel a lot of people still have a little bit of skepticism or fear, right? It's not easy to put yourself out there like that, and a lot of times you don't know who's on the other side or who's looking at you. Am I going to be perceived differently? Am I going to be judged? Am I going to be there's just so many different ways that people can see us, right? But in the workplace, it's really about understanding who you are, what you bring to the table, and that is just an added layer of who you are, right? The skills, the professionalism that you bring to the workplace, your creativity, your innovation, all of those things in the workplace are what is going to carry you forward. And then everything else that's about you, that's individual, that is actually what makes you unique and special to bring to those spaces. And that voice is needed, right? That perspective that you bring is important for you to share, because a lot of times for me, like I say, well, I'm paying insurance for my kids and my wife is paying insurance for herself too. She never adopted my kids, so we can't as a family, right? Even though we're married, right? My kids are not her kids, so the policies are very different. We need to take extra steps to do this, right? Parents, also LGBTQ plus parents, right? They also have different needs and different ways of having a family and doing what they need to do, adoption and all kinds of other things that many women, even that are straight, are going through as well, right? So you bringing that different perspective in, somebody else can say, oh, I never thought about that. Oh wait, maybe we should, or maybe this is what we can do, or oh, hold on, right? Like it just adds that extra perspective that sometimes isn't brought into the room if we're not in there, if we're not visible, if we're not talking, if we're not available to share.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing those perspectives. I wish someone had told me that, earlier in my career. And I know you're making the impact, now also, right? And so just thank you again for those words of wisdom. And as many of the hats that you wear, I know you are one of our first co-leads of our ACE Colores leadership program. So I remember still talking to you about this program, but again, let's talk about a little bit what inspired you about taking this role.
One way or another, Christian, I was going to make my way to that cohort, one way or another, because I had already applied a couple years ago to the program. And in the past 3 years, I've done a lot of inner work for myself. And it took me actually separating myself from my mom to be able to embrace myself fully and my life and my wife. And we ended up getting married during that time. And I just remember the fact that I didn't see myself in anything, in anywhere, in any spaces, right? And a mentor of mine who was 20 years older than me is the person that gave me that permission to be free, to be myself, to have that unconditional love that I didn't receive. And through that moment, I became like truly unstoppable in how much I can give, unstoppable on how much I can teach, unstoppable on how much I can receive,
Mm.
right? I wasn't receiving because I wasn't giving and I wasn't opening up to it. I was the turtle who was soft on the inside and had a hard shell on the outside, right? Like I was that person. And I wasn't being creative. I wasn't being innovative. I wasn't sharing. I wasn't doing all of that. And so when the opportunity happened for me to do that and give that gift to other people who are coming after us, I said I have to do it. Like there's no
Mhm.
way I can't. Like this gift has to keep on giving, right? That gift was given to me, and that's what made me want to be a part of this group and be able to share my story
Mhm.
and share what love looks like in a different way, in a different capacity, right? And there are leaders, we are leaders, and there's so many of us who just have so much to offer and maybe just don't see it in their families and proximity. And I want to be that person to other people.
No, yeah, and thank you for accepting our offer to co-lead this inaugural cohort of Colores, right? Like I've been in the session at the beginning and just seeing the community that you all have created right throughout these few months, and now I can't believe at the end of this month they're graduating, right? Like you said, this was definitely a vision before us that people created this program, and finally it took launch this spring. And you being one of our co-leads, right? And I know you're also working on a lot of different other initiatives and the different hats that you wear. So what's next for Miriam? What else are you working on?
Yes, and before I mention that, I gotta say that everybody that came in the Colores cohort, all the speakers that were involved, the curriculum that was created, everything was so well done that it allowed Diego and I to really set the tone and have such a great conversations and a learning experience for all of us involved. So thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, and for me, right? Like now what's next for me is, believe it or not, I get asked a lot about writing
Mhm.
and authorship. And so I was thinking, like, what else could I do? What more can I give? Right. And I was thinking, let me just dive into my chingona energy.
Mhm.
And I created the chingona playbook. So right now, what I'm doing is I have authors who are looking to share their stories, like secrets to dance to your own beat. And what is that? What does that look like? And that is like super exciting for me to be able to publish other people. People have frameworks too, like people have professional development that they have created and they're looking for a space to do that in. So I'm really excited and happy to be able to publish other people as well. It's something that gave me credibility and authority, and I love to give that back to others as well.
Gracias, Miriam. And we would love to hear from the audience. So if anyone has any questions for Miriam, feel free to put that in the chat here, and then our team will then let us know if you have any questions. So we'll see if we have any questions, Miriam. Is there anything in particular you're doing in order to celebrate Pride Month this month?
So I was going to participate in the New York Pride Parade, but I'm traveling back from Miami, and we're driving out there and driving back. My wife and I are doing that with her aunt. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. But right now I don't have anything else planned at the moment besides moderating an event.
That's
What
awesome.
about yourself? What are you doing?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, we're hosting our HACE Pride networking event in Chicago, so super excited. Even about the venue, it is Latina owned, queer owned, and it's a new venue that actually just opened up last week. So again, we were very intentional about what the places that we, partner with, right? That we want them to be a safe space for our members. So I think that's something that I'm looking forward to. And again, if you're in Chicago, for our audience here that are listening to, feel free to join us on that evening. I don't see any other questions. So maybe, any final thoughts, Miriam, that we didn't get to ask you about how to lead authentically, living your life authentically.
Yeah, I think everybody, I talk about being undivided and integrating all the different identities that you have. Just don't rush the moment, right? Like, I think sometimes it happens throughout the different life events that we have, and take your time with it. It's okay to take your time, and once you're ready, it'll happen for you. And sometimes the world is telling you, right? It's like talking to you and we're not paying attention. Sometimes there are patterns that we're seeing, right? Where because people kept asking me, like, we need more from you, Miriam. There's more. I'm like, more? I have nothing more to give. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? And that's what it was. It was the fact that I was suppressing a lot of who I was. And people can pick up on that. People will recognize that you're not going full, you're not going all in. And that's part of the journey. Yeah, it's part of the journey. So don't rush it. Do it at your pace, and don't do it alone. We're taught to do things by ourselves, and sometimes we just need to seek out that help, or seek out that person, seek out the community. And it's okay to do so. Give yourself permission to be.
Gracias, Miriam. We did get one question here in the chat. I know you talked a little bit about this, but what would you recommend to those still navigating stepping into their full self? What inner work can they do?
Yeah. What I did is I began talking to my therapist, right? So I went through therapy while I was writing my book.
Mhm.
I realized I had gone through so much trauma that I hadn't dealt with, and it was showing up in my adult world and in my relationship. And I was really going through it, and I needed to find somebody that I can speak to. So I spoke to a therapist to be able to get through that fear and get through, because I questioned, like, am I okay? Am I sick? Is something wrong with me? Right? Like, is this okay? Is this normal? Am I normal? Right? So I began to have all those different questions, because when you have somebody who's supposed to love you and be unconditionally your parent, right? And you don't have that, you begin to question yourself all the way to the deep core of who you are. And that's what happened.
Mhm.
So finding that support and being able to, I asked my therapist, I need you to send me the research on this,
Mhm.
literally, right? And she sent me the research paper and taught and showed it to me. And after I read that, then I was like, I had some relief. And get those answers to the questions that you have, right? Find the person that can get you those answers that you're looking for, and don't be afraid to ask those questions. Even I had two therapists. The first one was not my background and was not LGBT. I didn't ask, and I can
Mhm,
tell sometimes she was getting a little bit cautious with her
mhm,
responses, right? So then the second time around, I had a Latina Mexican, and I asked the question, what is your relationship, or what is your stance on LGBTQ?
mhm.
And she told me that her little brother was part of the community, so therefore she understood it, right? So that's what helped me make my decision as to who I spoke to too, right? So I always talk to people and tell them, even in the career, you are interviewing them,
Mhm.
right? To make sure that that's the right fit for you too, not just them making a decision about you. You are also, you have power in this. And I think a lot of us forget about that part.
No, yeah. Thank you, Miriam, for again just being vulnerable throughout this conversation, and just thanking everyone here joining us for this special edition of Cafecito con Acid, our Pride Month edition. And Miriam, wishing you all the happiness of this month and every day, and Feliz Dia de Orgullo. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and make sure to catch us at our next Cafecito, everyone. Thank you again, Miriam. Hasta
Yes,
luego.
thank you.
Of
Take
course.
care.
Bye, everyone.